Today's topic is reasons why your lender sucks and maybe you should dump them. So, the number one reason I believe that you should rethink your decision on a lender is, do they make you feel bad about your financial or credit situation? And maybe they talk down to you and maybe try to make you feel stupid by using industry jargon, that type of thing. I think this is a huge red flag for many reasons. One, but just from a human perspective, making anybody feel bad about their current situation is really arrogant. Real life gets in the way and real life is messy. I've done loans for 29 years, right? It is the rare person that has absolutely everything put together, no matter what anybody tells you, right? There's always something, divorce, job changes. This just real life gets in the way. Death in the family. There's so much that just happens. And everybody walks through life on a different path, and there's no right or wrong, right? On my life, I've had good credit, I've had bad credit, I've had money, I've been broke, right? It's just the way that it works. And I'm sorry, if you live long enough, this world will humble you. Just wait, right? So anybody who's arrogant and makes anybody else feel bad about their situation, doing what we do, it's just not okay. And it's also a red flag because I do believe that some people, some loan officers, lenders, will use it as a way to steer people or get people to keep them from shopping them, maybe demanding a little bit better terms. That whole, you're lucky you found me because I'm the only one who can help you kind of a mentality is BS. So treating people with a little bit of respect and dignity goes a long ways, right? And, I've done loans for people over the years and seen it where they came to me as first-time home buyers. Maybe their credit wasn't great, and over the years they have bought more than one home, and now their credit's great, and they have money and their families, and just to see that transition and that development is pretty amazing, and it's pretty consistent. Honestly, I've seen it a lot over the years. So judging anybody based on their current situation is really arrogant, and I don't think it's okay, and I think it's a huge red flag. So that's number one. Number two is responsiveness now and communicating with somebody. So I get a lot of loans coming from other lenders because people are frustrated, right? They're not getting calls back. They don't understand the process. I've had people even say, I applied for a loan 30 days ago and never heard again from my loan officer. I don't know where I'm at. Unacceptable, right? At so many different levels. Now, this is all about expectations though. So, what I try to tell people is, hey, if you call me before say 3:30 in the afternoon, expect a call that day. I'm going to call you back. If not me, my assistant will. We'll get back to you. Now, if it's after that and it's late in the day, sometimes it'll be the next morning. But, within 24 hours, I think that's completely reasonable. To expect the same day or the very next morning is a reasonable expectation. If you don't hear from me in that time frame, you assume I didn't get the message. So that's another thing too. I have AT&T, and I don't know what it is about AT&T this year, but their voicemails sometimes come in an hour or two later. I hate that. So if you ever call me and I don't get back to you right away, text me or shoot me an email. I promise somebody will get back to you. If it's not me, 99% of the time it's me. So that's the way that it works. You have to be communicative. On the weekends, if you're calling for a status on something, say like, oh, is the appraisal in? Is the title report in? On a weekend, chances are you're going to hear back on Monday. That's reasonable with any company, I would say. But if you're making an offer, that's the one exception, right? So time is of the essence when you make an offer. Hearing back from your loan officer right away is huge. That can make the difference between getting a deal accepted and not getting a deal accepted. Believe it or not, I can't tell you how many times these things come together on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. It's almost the rule, not the exception. So having somebody who will get back to you when it counts is important. On the weekends when you're making an offer, that's a whole different ballgame. It will be there for you. And if you are working with somebody who you don't feel will be, you need to rethink that decision. So being communicative and responsive is huge. The market can move really fast. It's always like super slow, and then now, right? That's just the way it works. That's life. So being responsive and not talking down to people is huge. The third one is transparency. So a red flag is a lack of transparency. People, you need to understand what you're getting into, right? So if you are working with somebody who isn't explaining things to you, you don't know what your rate is, you don't know what program you're on, you don't know what your payment's going to be or how much cash you need, that's just so unacceptable, and it just doesn't work, right? You need to understand those things, and that has to be fully explained to you up front. So, my philosophy is I'm going to treat you and tell you what I would want to know if I was you, right? Knowing what I know. So you're going to know your payment. You're going to know how much cash you need. You're going to know the loan program. You're going to know what the next steps are and what restrictions are, if any. So restrictions would be like if you're USDA, which is a loan program, first time homebuyer program, well, they only lend in certain areas. So it's restricted geographically. So if you're going to be pre-approved on that program, I'm going to tell you, don't look in these areas, right? Or if your loan amount is restricted, because, you know, Pierce, King, Snohomish County here in Washington State has different loan limits than every county around it, I'll make sure you understand that. So if you're looking right on the county line, you're not on the wrong side of the street, right? It can make a huge difference. You fall in love with the wrong house, and that's not good for anyone. It's a waste of your time. It's very frustrating. So understanding that transparency, understanding what you're getting into, what your next steps are, you know, how to document things, just the better you understand that process, the smoother it goes for everyone, the happier you'll be, the better the experience will be. And it's just everybody wins. And if you're not experienced that level of transparency, you really need to rethink your decision. So, you know, really what it comes down to is that you need an advocate, right? And that's really what a loan officer is. You know, so many people approach it like a loan officer is a decision maker. Now, that said, I pre-underwrite files. And the way I look at it is I'm going to underwrite your file and I'm going to approve you. And the underwriter is going to validate my decision. So that's how I approach it. So I think that's true, but more so than really approving your loan, really what my job is to be your advocate. I structure the loan correctly, present it to the lender in a way that is, excuse me, factual and true and in the best light, fitting the program, making sure that the type of loan fits your needs and fits what you qualify for. And not only will I tell you what, but I'll tell you why. So, and that's part of that. It goes back to the transparency piece. You need to not know just what needs to be done, but you need to know why. Because understanding why is all the difference, right? If you ask me. That's the difference between being able to problem solve and not. If you know why you're being asked of something, then you might be able to come up with an alternative that will work, right? If you can't provide us exactly what we need. So, so huge. It makes such the difference in your experience. So I'm your advocate. My job is to structure your loan, put it in the best possible light, get you approved, and the whole way making it an enjoyable process as much as possible. I mean, but it's a loan. Come on, it's not that fun. But it doesn't have to be a nightmare either. So if you're working with somebody who isn't providing these three things, isn't you know, not making you feel bad or stupid, is responsive and is also transparent, that's what you're looking for. If you're not getting that, you really need to rethink it. They probably suck. They may not have the experience level or the empathy to treat you right in the way you want to be treated. So I try to treat everybody like I would treat my family, and that's really important to me. And I think that's why people come back to me, honestly. Most of my business, or all of it, is repeat and referral, and that's how I like it. And it makes me feel good about what I do. So I'd love to hear what are reasons that either you or somebody you know has dumped their lender or their loan officer and switched. What are reasons that you would leave a lender or a loan officer for? I would love to hear that. I love to hear the horror stories. So hearing what's out there gives me a good idea of my competition. So there you go. Well, John.Hunter, New American Funding. I'm your mortgage guy. I'd love to work with you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. Like, share. I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.